Rogue Leader really started, I think last year in the summer of 2000 when Nintendo had its new console almost done and we were getting early prototype hardware. And at that point in time, everybody, having worked on Battle for Naboo, an Episode 1 game for the Nintendo 64, here at Factor 5 decided, hey, now is the time to do a follow-up to our most successful game up to that date, which was Rogue Squadron on the Nintendo 64. And GameCube, as the machine wasn't even called at that time, was really perfect for envisioning the Star Wars universe or recreating the Star Wars universe, especially the classic Star Wars universe, in a way which never has been possible before in interactive media. And we set out, we had a 19-day time frame for a Japanese trade show called Space World to create a teaser version. LucasArts said, yeah, you can do it, you've got the hardware, so let's give it a try. And Nintendo wanted to present their new hardware there. So we brought a fight, first of all, an introduction cutscene, which is on this DVD as a teaser trailer, that and a playable version of the Death Star Endurance level, which you can unlock here. We brought that together in the 19 days, which was a really stunning proof of concept that you could, on this new machine GameCube, create games very, very, very quickly with high production values, which was important. And that then basically, over the next half year, while we finished Battle for Naboo, led into the real Rogue Leader, which was actually started in February of this year, 2001.
Tense moment.
Doing fog. Doing fog?
One of the main things why everything had to work out was basically the time frame, because usually nowadays huge games like Rogue Leader take 18 to 24 months to produce, and since we wanted to hit launch of the console, we had to get the game done in 8 months, which is an insane time frame, but we thought it's possible because we've got a very good core technical team. We knew what GameCube could do. We were one of the first developers in the world to have access to GameCube, and all the support from Nintendo, which was fantastic.
I would like to say they're treating me well here. They give me 1 meal a day.
The typical game production for this, which is probably pretty much a prototype for how making a game works, started in, I guess, late December of 2000, where basically the team sat down, or a core team sat down. In this case, the mission designers, myself as the director, Brett Toasty, the producer, and then various people who wanted to join, and we sat down and tried to flesh out a design. And at that point, really, the planning with the programming team starts. The software engineers, or programmers as we call them, basically sit together and they try to determine, reading through the design, which different parts of the engine have to be done. And we needed something for the so-called tile map levels, which works like a puzzle, which is the Death Star, the second Death Star, and parts of Bespin and the Imperial Academy. And we needed a landscape engine, obviously, for the landscapes. We needed space, which is very easy. You don't even need an engine, you need just a sphere with stars on it. At that point, where the programmers were pretty convinced that they could do it, art already had started. Our lead artist, Paul Topoulos, had basically pulled everything out of the archives which was available. Some of that material is usable, some of it isn't. So we had one modeler, for example, starting in anticipation of the project last year in summer, building really high polygon, very detailed models of all of the Star Wars play aircraft. And Bastian, the modeler who did that, he was working basically during the whole time just on the play aircraft. And so the art asset generation starts at that point. Paul coordinated with the other artists, and then we divided it up into strength. So there are certain people like Bastian who are very good about mechanical structures, so he was perfect for those models. Or Mario Wagner, our art director here, he's also very good at mechanical structures and these things. Then we've got other people like Armando Afre or Corset Karatas who are good at organic structures. So we went through the Star Wars universe and said, okay, what's organic? What do we need organic? And assigned it to these people. A story which went through the gaming press and the internet, which was often told, was that we got models from ILM, which isn't true, because ILM models usually are done with so-called NURBS, whereas in games we're still working with polygons most of the time. So the NURBS models from ILM wouldn't help us that much, because the work to transform them into polygons is quite hefty. The next challenge then, if you're getting the first art assets together and the programmers have created the basis of your engine, at that point, hopefully the mission designers come in. And Jamie, Al, Chris, and Chris Crawford, our level designers, they basically came in and grabbed all the art assets at the time, and then in a proprietary tool, which we have been using for years and have developed here, are basically grabbing all of these assets and placing them, and they can transform them into a game with the assets which they get from the programmers. So basically, if you've got a TIE fighter, they can tell in the tool the TIE fighter to behave in a certain way. That's in a very crude form the description of how you create a game. We certainly were helped by pretty good tools which we had. One of the main outside tools we were using was Alias Maya, which is one of the big 3D packages which also movie production companies are using, and which was good for a lot of our art. But we also created a lot of our in-house tools. On the sound side, an interesting development was, for the first time we could do 5.1 full 5-channel sound, which only came into existence relatively late in the process when we got into contact with Dolby, because we did develop the GameCube music system called Musix, and in the end we had to convince Dolby that it would be possible with their new ProLogic 2 technology to get real 5-channel sound out of it. So that was one more challenge, where in an already tight schedule, our programmers had to sit down and really pull it off in the shortest time frame possible. But yeah, I think in the end, it all came together pretty well.